students. You all are welcome in my second class. So today I will be taking two topics of Indian economy. First is infrastructure in India, and second is the industrial policies as it has been mentioned in the syllabus of Indian economy. So today I will take two topics, and as you people heard my yesterday's class, so I talked about some bit about the infrastructure and the sectoral part of Indian economy. So I think you all might be going through the press release based on national income and sectoral human resource distribution. You all have gone through that, those release, which I shared on the group. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. So you please go through all the details. You will be finding some wonderful data and all the facts, the recent facts, latest fact about the national income statistics and the occupational distribution of labor force in India. So today the topic is infrastructure in India. So infrastructure are just like driver of development. They are just the stimulant of economic development. And infrastructure, there are so many types of infrastructure. And infrastructure, if you want to develop the country in a more speedy manner, then you need to more investment in the infrastructure sector, because it's like a stimulus to economic development. It paves the path for economic development, and the multiple development which we need for our economy and for our country, that is being just fostered by the infrastructure sector. So it is necessary for the economic growth, and it is for the better well-being of the humanity also. So there are various types of infrastructure, as I told you earlier, that first is the physical or capital infrastructure, which looks in a physical form, like roads, railways, telecom, electricity, communication, airports, seaports. There are four modes of transport: roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. So, talking about the physical infrastructure, you must be knowing that any infrastructure, you name any infrastructure, that is a two component. First, if you need pen for the writing, then you also need as a variable expenditure of running your pen. Otherwise, it will not operate forever. Roads are laid out, but you need automobile. If you will have automobile, then you will use the road. If you have an airport, then you need aeroplane for civil aviation purpose and like that. So all infrastructure have two components. If you have electricity, then you must have a need for electrical appliances also. So these are the two components of any infrastructure. Name about any infrastructure. If you talk about social infrastructure, you need an educational institution, then you need classroom, college, schools, training center, and you also need teachers, trainers, who can disseminate information and knowledge to you and train your mind and make you more efficient. So this is the story of infrastructure. So for your convenience and for your better understanding, I would like to divide infrastructure in my own way, and that is the three sector of Indian economy as we distribute it. Like primary sector means agriculture, mining, veterinary, animal husbandry, dairy, fishery, poultry. These all are part of agriculture allied activity. So primary sector, you need first primary sector infrastructure, and then you need secondary sector infrastructure, means industrial. industry to run manufacturing activity, you need infrastructure. And third is the tertiary sector, जिसे हिंदी में सेवा क्षेत्र कहते हैं. So for that also you need infrastructure. So first I would like to talk about primary sector infrastructure, means agriculture, dairy, veterinary, poultry, fishery, etc. So you need what kind of infrastructure for agriculture? So first you need irrigation canal. And when we started our planned approach of our economy, so public sector was given the bigger role, that was the role called commanding height. So they just laid out big river valley project in the after the post independence period. In the first 5-year plan or second 5-year plan, our emphasis on to laying out more core sector infrastructure, and it was not we cannot expect it to be done from private sector. So the public sector went ahead and it just laid out all sorts of infrastructure which was required for the better running of our economy. So talking about agricultural infrastructure, first we need irrigation canal, and irrigation have also several types. Somewhere we use water pump, somewhere we need a small canal irrigation project, somewhere a bigger river canal project, somewhere we used pond, well, like that for the irrigation purpose, and sometimes we have to depend over rainy season. So, but ultimately government has to facilitate all the irrigation facilities so that farmers have a better infrastructure in terms of irrigating their land and irrigating their several crops. And second, you need a high yield variety seeds. Then you need agriculture farm to germinate high yield variety seeds. Then you need fertilizer factory, because the fertilizer is massively used in any agriculture activity. So you need several fertilizer plants. And you know, fertilizer have also 2-3 categories: nitrogen fertilizer, potassic fertilizer, and phosphatic fertilizer. And somewhere we need we utilize our cow dung and all kind of natural farming. Nowadays it is being talked about. So farmers himself just collect dung of cows and all the livestock and make natural manure for the agriculture purpose. And now we need electricity for agriculture also. So you can say that electricity is also infrastructure used for agriculture purpose also. So agriculture electricity has a multiple use, that is used for the household activity, industrial activity, commercial activity, and civic amenity. And now we need agriculture know-how also, so that we can better train our farmers. Better technology, agriculture technology can be adopted to raise our agriculture productivity. Then we need agriculture university, science center, etc., etc. And you know, government has laid out more than 130 agriculture Krishi Vigyan Kendras and several universities to disseminate knowledge and information to the farming community. Then we need agriculture mandis, so that they can purchase cereals and other agricultural items from the farmer, and they can store it and they can sell and purchase it. So for that you need mandi, storehouse, warehouse, etc., etc. All the freezing center, cold house also for keeping fruits and vegetables. So these are the infrastructure for the primary sector. Then you need rural roads. Roads is also a big type of infrastructure. And rural road, when you talk about rural road, that is most required for the agriculture sector and rural sector. So these are the primary sector major infrastructure. You talk about poultry, fishery. So several kind of infrastructure are also required there. And for that, government facilitate many things, for like veterinary doctors, for like vaccination program, for the immunization of different cattle. And so these may be called as infrastructure for the primary sector. You can name other many things also, like if you establish panchayat ghar, if we establish a place for rural heart, rural gymnasium, rural hospital, rural schools, that all may be termed as the infrastructure for the rural area. Now we come to the infrastructure required for the secondary sector, means industrial and manufacturing sector. So there is a immense huge and immense requirement for the infrastructure while pursuing any sort of industrial development or any sort of manufacturing activity. And in talking about infrastructure, it itself an industry. Infrastructure is itself an industry, and nowadays government is pouring lots of investment in the infrastructure sector. The investment is not coming from the public sector and the government sector, but also it is coming from the private sector and from the also foreign sector. Lots of investment came in the telecom sector in laying out cables and all. So talking about the secondary sector infrastructure, you can name road. The road has also two parts, as I told you. We need road and also we need automobile. So automobile can be termed as a capital goods. Same way you need railway. So railway tracks, railway stations, signaling system, traffic system, these are all railway infrastructure. But you need also coaches, wagons, freight wagons also. So that is called as capital goods for the railway. Now you come on the airways. We need several airports. Under UDAN scheme, government is opening several airports in the smaller cities of the, so that we have a better connectivity and more development of civil aviation sector in the country. Nowadays we have more than 100 airport operational in the country. And when you talk about airways, then you need aeroplane also. You need also the air traffic control system also. Now we come on the port sector, our waterways. We are developing our domestic inland waterways also. The Ganga river is being utilized as a water transport also for the internal domestic trade. And the seaports, if you talk about seaports, the government is making more than 3 lakh crore investment in only in the port sector. We are developing several ports in the country so that we must have a more foreign trade with the global several countries of the globe. So seaports is also a big infrastructure. So if you need seaports, then you need ships also. Then big ships, that may be termed as a capital goods for the port sector. Now we come on the communication. The communication, all kind of communication. We have a telephone, mobile, and we are upgrading it through 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and now we are talking about 6G also. So for that we need bandwidth, which is controlled by Ministry of Communication of Government of India. You may be knowing that communication is not a state subject; it's only central subject. Communication is exclusively the subject of central government. So communication has also two parts. You need a cable, you need transmission, you need tower. Several towers has been erected, more than lakhs of towers has been erected by several companies and several telecom players. Then included mobile handset also. You all may be knowing, and later I will discuss about this. The country was not self-reliant over manufacturing of mobile handset. We were mostly importing it from countries like China, Korea and Vietnam. Now country has become self-sufficient not only, but also it has become the second largest exporter of the mobile handset and other electronic items. And talking about after that communication, we need the internet also. As you may be knowing that 85% population has come under the internet service. Thanks to the mobile internet service, that it has made accessible to all. The internet has become accessible to all. Right now 85% people are connected, and 65% of rural area and almost 95% of urban area are getting connected with internet service. That is also a big infrastructure. And now we come to the second most important infrastructure after transport, that is the energy. Energy is required for everything. For the, as I told, for the running our houses, for running the factory, for running all public services and all civic amenity, we need energy. And energy has also two sources. First, fossil energy means जो कि मिट्टी के परत के नीचे है, like petroleum items, Fossil energy includes petroleum, which is diesel, petrol, kerosene, CNG, natural gas, LPG, etc., etc. Methane gas, these are all part of, and coal also. Coal, we are heavily dependent for generating thermal energy from coal. So these are all part of fossil energy. And second is those energy which is being generated through several ways, like thermal energy. So thermal energy, it is not being operated only by coal, but also by natural gas also. And there are so many things are coming. We are utilizing water vapor also for generating thermal energy. After that, we talk about hydel energy. And hydel energy also one of the big source of renewable energy in the country. And some countries, some public sector company is totally dedicated for this sort of generation, like NHPC, National Hydel Power Corporation, and NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, has also hydel part, and they have instituted a separate company for generating hydel energy. And third is the wind energy, tidal energy. You all may be knowing about the cycle, wind cycle, mostly erected in the coastal part of the country. The wind energy, tidal energy from the sea tides, it is being generated. Now the other source of energy, the nuclear energy, which is regarded as the cheapest most energy. The per unit production cost is the cheapest when we generate energy from the nuclear source. Now we are talking about several other sorts of green energy, like solar energy, being generated from solar plate and like that. And we also have a green hydrogen. It also has become a big future source of energy. And government of India is investing a lot in generating green hydrogen source of energy. So these are source of energy, and these are the major infrastructure. And now we talk about the third sector of economy, that is called tertiary sector or the services sector, which is the largest contributor to our GDP. Our 55% to 60% contribution comes from tertiary sector. And as I earlier told you that the financial service, tourism, trade, transport, IT service, and the government service, administrative service, defense service, these all constitute tertiary sector. And talking about tertiary sector, we also huge need for the infrastructure. As I earlier told, the social capital or the human capital is being, which is also called human development. Human development, education, health, sanitation, nutrition. These are four parts. You can add environment protection also, or environment sustainability also, in terms of human development, because it just augment the efficiency of mankind. It just made them more efficient, more healthy, more educated, more aware, more skilled. So for that we need enormous quantum of infrastructure in terms of what? School at three levels: primary level, secondary level, and higher secondary level, and also at professional level and technical level. Then you need hospitals. If you talk about the schools, then you need teachers also, trainers also. If you talk about hospitals, then you talk about the several equipment, medical equipment also. Say for example, in this university, this is a smart board is also equipment. This is also equipment. The tables and chairs and all furnitures are also equipment. It's an infrastructure. You can say this is a social capital goods. So now you talk about the training center, the refreshing center. These are also a kind of infrastructure. Drinking water facility. Drinking water facility is also a big source of. It's a big item of social infrastructure. So infrastructure is very much required for the operation and maintenance of any system, any family, any society, or any nation, or any country, or even the whole world. Sometimes we have a power failure, immediately become very bewildered, or we feel that what would be our future. There is no water, there is no electricity, like that. So these are the things which is accelerator of economic development, and also it brings multiplier effect in our economy. If you have a roads, railways, telecom, electricity, then it generates, it augments the development process and it brings multiplier effect. Any student can explain what is the multiplier effect? Can you tell? You please tell. You know multiplier effect? Anything which you know about multiplier effect?
How hands should be changed? How the hands should be changed? If I give you money and you give this.
The term meaning is correct, but in economics this term is used as a that कि मैं just I invest 100 rupees, ठीक है, and along with profit I am getting 125. No, this is not multiplier effect. Multiplier effect mathematics में कहा जाता है कि 2 into 2 4, 50 into 10 500. It's a multiplier. So multiplier means कि if you have a investment in infrastructure, it doesn't mean it will bring 10% or 20% return. It may have a double, triple benefit can be generated out of it. So infrastructure act as a multiplier. Multiplier means कि if country earns 100 crore and if we increase our investment in infrastructure sector, road, railway, telecom, country may earn 100, not only 100, even 500, 1000 crore. If you talk about 100 crore, country may earn 500 crore also, multiplied by 5 times, multiplied by 10 times. So this is a term utilized in economics, and for that you need that kind of investment, that kind of initiative which can bring multiplier effect in our economy. So this is generally used term multiplier effect. So you must all be knowing about this. I think you may have understand this. Yes. Multiplier effect clear है? So this is called multiplier effect. That is why I am talking about infrastructure. You can easily understand if there is a road, if there is a railway, there will be saving of time, there will be saving of so many things. Your work will be rendered in a very short period of time. Then you have more productivity. You can have a more productivity in 1 month in comparison to those times when you have a more time spent on some rendering some small piece of work. So these are the infrastructure which brings multiplier effect in our economy. If you don't understand any term, you please ask me, I will explain, because you are the just initial phase of learning economics. A person starts from the master class to get to become for being matured in any department, any study. It starts from the master class. So there is several terms utilized in economics. So you can ask it without being agitating or being confused. So as I told you that the infrastructure is very much required for the smooth functioning of economy. For if you want to speedify the pace of development, now country is talking about the slogan of Viksit Bharat. So Viksit Bharat requires lots of investment in the infrastructure sector, in road, railway, telecom, energies, school, college. You talk about a stadium which is just established in Rajgir. This is for what? This is a sports infrastructure. This is a sports infrastructure. It will create awareness among the young persons, young players. They will go for more sports activity, and then country will have more model medals in different international tournaments. So these are the infrastructure which is required for the smooth functioning of society, family, economy, country, state, and even the whole world. Okay, it's clear now? Now I will, in the second aspect of infrastructure chapter, I will talk about, and I already told you that environment protection and sustainability. Sustainability means what? The continuity of life. and continuity of survival. This is called sustainability. So for that we need a better environment. We have a suffocating environment in the capital city of the country, Delhi, and some other parts. We have a, thanks to the ranking agency or rating agency, which brings day to day the AQI level and or PM5 or PM10 level, so that we can become more anxious and more conscious regarding our environment, regarding our atmosphere, regarding our air quality, so that we have a better life expectancy, better health, and better work efficiency. So this is also a big source of infrastructure. Talking about infrastructure, we have to face several constraints. It is very easy to talk about infrastructure, to make more investment in infrastructure, but where the money will come from? Where the investment will come from? Out of limited resources, you have to keep into account several things. If you are getting 5,000 rupees from your parents in a month, so then you have to look into account your food, your shelter, your clothing, your study material, your entertainment, your mobile expense, your breakfast expense when you go to outside of the campus. So you have to manage it. The same way, country also manages how to invest more in the infrastructure, because country has a limited resource. First, it has to spend on external and internal security. You know what is called external security? You know, army. And you have a three army, army, air force, and navy. So if government invests on this is the primary responsibility of any government to secure your country from outside. And second, from the domestic side also, so that is called internal security. It is being rendered by whom? Police and several intelligence agencies. So army is the exclusive subject of central government, but police is the subject of both central government and state government. Central government only facilitates paramilitary police and ये क्या बोलते हैं जो अर्ध जैसे CRPF, ये क्या है? It's a kind of police force being run by central government, but the state police has a major role and the primary role. So apart from internal and external security, you need infrastructure, you need human development, you need social security also. I talked about the tertiary sector infrastructure. So if you provide social security, pension to the aged people, that is also a kind of infrastructure, social infrastructure. Because in the old days, person is not able to work and earn money, so that they require social security in terms of pension and like that. So as I talked about the constraints regarding infrastructure investment, so it is very difficult to manage how to invest more in the infrastructure. So there is one term that is called BCR, balance from current revenue. जैसे state government earns from two main sources, from the registration of property, the selling and purchasing of land or building, you have to spend on a stamp paper. So that is one of the big source of earning of a state government. That is called registration fee, property registration fee. And second is the bravery, taxes on bravery, that is called abkari. So this is one of the big source of a state government. Other than this, the sale tax, which has converted into GST, goods and service tax. You know GST? Goods and service tax is composed of what? What are the items in GST? Goods and services. So goods पे central government भी लगाती थी कर, that was called excise tax. And also somewhere there is a central sale tax also. But the sale tax is primarily imposed by state government. It used to be. So and this was the big source of income of a state government. But now this state sale tax, central sale tax, central excise tax has been clubbed into one tax, that is called GST. Whenever you take any receipt of GST or any voucher, So you will find there is a central sales tax here and a state sales tax here. So compiling all these revenue of a state government, what they get money, so they have to spend on the police, on the administration, on the pension, on the so many things administration. And after that, if they have a submit balance, then that is called BCR, balance from current revenue. And that BCR is being spent over the newer development process, newer infrastructure laying out, and the sharing several central sponsored schemes. You have more than 200 central sponsored schemes run by central government, and the state has to implement, and fund has to be managed by central government. And there is a ratio, 80% will be given by central government, and 20% in some scheme there is a 10%, in some scheme there is a 30%, like that. Recently laid out scheme GRAMG, the Rural Employment Program. Now the state's contribution has been increased from 20% to 30%, and 70% is being given by central government. So I am just telling you the trend of the system. You can check out the figure. It may be wrong also, but that is the not one main issue. The main issue is how the system operates and where the federal system of governance act and what power they are enjoying, and like that. So out of GST, goods and services tax, and that fund of a state share is being transferred by central government with the recommendation of Finance Commission. Finance Commission is instituted at every 5 years. It is mentioned in the Constitution of India that every 5 years there will be one Finance Commission. That is a committee comprised of several experts representing different areas of economy, and they recommend how much share states have to be given in what manner and in what items. They decide, and then state gets the money and they spend their all their requirement and necessity. So talking about infrastructure, it is not duty of only central government, but it is a duty of a state government also. So talking about roads, you may be knowing about highways. Highways, it means it is a central government project, and there is another term that is called a state highway. So that is being constructed by state government only. Expressway, big highways. There are several highways have been sanctioned for the state of Bihar by central government. So that will be financed, that will be constructed by central government only. But the state government has to also construct several roads, that is called state highway, link highway, small roads, rural connectivity roads. Though for the rural area, there is a Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. It is also shared between central government and the state government, and they just give money, and then these projects are being completed. And for the infrastructure project, government take